Hi, just going to go through a yoga sequence where we gently mobilise most of the major joints and just warm and stretch the muscles. So it's a very gentle movement, only going as far as comfortable for you, not doing any postures that don't feel right for you at this time. So it's all going to be seated, so you might want to get a block or cushion where you can just sit and just tilting the pelvis forward just to get more comfortable. You can have your legs out in front of you, your legs to the side, just what works for you. So just coming to sit, and before we start, maybe just connecting with the breath. So just bring your awareness to your belly. Be aware of the belly as it rises with the in-breath and contracts with the out-breath. Not changing the breath, not wanting it to be different. Just noticing that movement. And then becoming aware of the movement of the ribs. So maybe even just putting your hands on the ribs as the chest expands. And how it contracts with the out-breath. And maybe bring your hands back onto your legs. Be aware of the shoulders and just noticing if the shoulders might lift as you breathe in and drop as you breathe out. Becoming aware of the cool air as it enters the nose. You breathe in and the warmer air leaving as you breathe out. Becoming aware of the air as it moves down the throat and back up again. And then just connecting with the whole breath. So as you breathe in the cool air as it goes down the nose and throat. Be aware of the belly expanding, the chest expanding, maybe the shoulders lifting. And as you breathe out, the warmer air enters in the belly and the chest contracting and the shoulders dropping. Breathing in and breathing out. And if you find your mind starts wandering, just gently bring your attention back to the breath. And then we're just going to start the movement of the body. So as you breathe out, just dropping the chin on the chest. As you breathe in, lifting the chin up very gently, maybe looking to the corner with the ceiling, not throwing your head too far back, just being really gentle. Breathing out, taking the chin down. Breathing in, this time you just lift the chin, opening the mouth, stretching the jaw. And then as you breathe out, bringing the chin back down again and closing the mouth. And just doing two more, really making sure you're not throwing the head back, just gently looking up and bringing the chin down. Just waking up the neck, we're not wanting to overstretch it. And then bringing the head back to centre. As you breathe out, turning to look over one shoulder. Breathing in, coming back to the centre, and breathing out to the other shoulder. Just making sure as you do this movement, the chin's tucked into the back of your neck, nice and straight. And just looking over one shoulder, coming back to the centre, and then the other. Maybe just using the breath with each movement. But if that doesn't work for you, just becoming aware of the movement and letting the body breathe itself. And bringing the chin back to centre, dropping the chin on the chest, and rolling one ear to one shoulder. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, coming back to centre, and then rolling the other ear to the other shoulder. Just doing that a few more times. And then bring the head back to centre, lifting the head up. As you breathe in, taking your shoulders up to your ears and back, and breathing out, down and forward. Just circling the shoulders for a few times. Just noticing how they feel. We carry so much stress often in the shoulders, so just giving them a roll. And then go in the opposite direction, still using your breath. it's a bit more of a challenge, bringing one forward and one back, lifting the one at the front, taking the one at the back down, and just circling in the opposite direction. One way, and then the other. And then bringing the shoulders to rest. Then taking the arms like you're pushing away a wall, bringing one under the other, just give yourself a hug. And staying here, just with a stretch across the back, or bring the hands in prayer with the elbows together, the hands together, or crossing the arms, bring the back of the hands together and then wrapping the hands around each other in what's called eagle arms. And here you can lift the elbows a bit more, move them away a little bit from you, and maybe dropping your chin on the chest if that's comfortable, just to stretch out the upper back. But really feeling that stretch across the shoulders and the upper back. And then as you breathe out, just taking the arms apart again, like you're just pushing a wall, and then bring the other arm underneath. Last time, give yourself that hug, just really sensing that warmth of the arms across the front of you. And then bringing them, staying here, bringing them into prayer, or wrapping the arms round back into eagle arms. And again, feel a bit more stretch, lifting the elbows, taking the arms away, and maybe dropping the chin onto the chest. As you breathe out, taking the arms apart, and breathing in, bring the fingertips onto the shoulders, and starting to make small circles with the elbows. So it's just mobilising the shoulders more. And then making those circles bigger and bigger until the elbows come towards the centre or start meeting in the centre. And then go in the opposite direction, starting with big circles and then getting smaller. Bring the arms to rest, bringing the hands, they face up to the ceiling, pointing one finger towards the ceiling, just circling the hands in one direction and then the other. Just moving the elbows, just trying to get the movement from the elbows. And then taking the hands out in front of you, pushing one hand away, where you bring the other hand down, so like you're pushing against a wall, and then with the breath, just bringing one hand up, pushing away, and take the other down. Breathing in, pushing away one down, breathing out the other hand. Just mobilising the wrists. And then taking the fingers straight out ahead of you, and moving the fingers one way and then the other. So just moving from the wrist. And then forming fists, circling them one way and then the other. Doing that again, circling one way and then the other. And then stretching the fingers as wide as possible, and then just gently bring one finger down at a time to form the fist, and then opening out. Circling the fingers round and opening out. Circling around and opening out. And then taking the hands behind you, stretching out across the top of the shoulders, stretching the wrists behind you, and then turning the hands so they're facing away from you. And then bring them forward, resting the hands on the knees, maybe just shutting the eyes for a moment, just noticing how your neck and your shoulder and arms are feeling after that movement. Maybe there's warmth or tingling, maybe there's some release or tension. Just be curious of how they feel. And then we're just going to move on to the spine, just move it in the very different directions that the spine moves in. So you might want to come off the block or cushion if you're sitting on it, you can stay. But for the next movement, you don't get as much if you're sitting on a block. So as you breathe in, just lifting the chest up, coming forward, looking up slightly, and breathing out, rounding the back, tucking the chin under. Breathing in, lifting the chest, looking up, and breathing out. Just tucking the chin in, rolling the pelvis forward. Coming forward, just extending the spine slightly, and as you roll back, just forming that C shape, the pelvis tucked under the chin. So we're just flexing and extending the back, just noticing which parts of the back move most, which bits maybe feel a bit more stuck or stiff. And then you can carry on like this, or if Right, coming over one knee, circling over to the other, and then rounding the spine as we did before and circling behind. So you're doing the same movement, but just introducing that circular movement. And then just going the opposite direction. And then coming to sit. Breathing in, just stretching up, maybe linking the hands, stretching them up, maybe just swaying slightly from side to side. And then releasing the hands, bringing one down beside you, sliding it out. We're just coming to stretch the side of the body. Just taking the spine in a different direction, just waking it up, so not going too far, and making sure both hips are flat on the ground, so you don't lift that hip up, just keeping it flat. Breathing out, sliding the hand back, stretching up, maybe looking up at the hands. As you breathe out, bringing the other hand down, stretching over to the other side. And gently sliding that hand in, breathing in, stretching the arms up. As you breathe out, bringing the opposite hand to the opposite knee. Breathing in, stretching the other arm up and taking it down behind you. And then take your breath and then breathing in, stretching up a bit more. And breathing out, turning towards that hand behind you. And if it's comfortable, turning the head to look over the shoulder. Only if that's right for your neck, otherwise just keep it looking forward. Again, just noticing that twist in the body. As you breathe in, taking both arms up. Breathing out, taking the opposite hand to the opposite knee. Breathing in, stretching up, taking it behind you. Breathing out, and then as you breathe in, stretching up and breathing out, turning to the other side, maybe turning to look over the shoulder or just looking ahead if that's more comfortable for you. As you breathe out, just coming back to centre and bringing one leg out in front of you, keeping the other foot tucked into the thigh. And then sitting up, nice and straight, breathing in, bringing the arms up. As you breathe out, coming forward, looking up, so just keeping the back relatively straight. So you drop your hands down, and then just coming forward over that leg. Just see yourself round over that leg. So you're stretching out the hip inside of the leg and stretching out the back of the leg. And just taking a couple of breaths here. Walking the hands to the middle, maybe coming down in the middle. And then walking the hands back. Then just bringing the 2 feet together and cupping the hands under the feet. Just maybe butterflying the knees up and down. And then bringing the legs to rest. And then we're just going to round over, bringing the head down towards the feet. You might bring the elbows on the inside of the legs if you want to just very gently give them a little bit more stretch. We're not forcing them apart. And take a couple of breaths here. And then just gently lifting the head up. And then as you sit up, gently taking the other leg out in front of you, bringing the foot into the thigh, breathing in, taking the arms up, and breathing out again, looking up slightly as you come down, keeping that back relatively straight until you come over that leg, and then just letting your body round over the leg, just stretching out back of the leg, the lower back, just feeling that stretch. If you want more stretch in the back, you can always bend your knee or round the back more if you want the stretch in the legs will come up a little bit more. Bringing the hands to centre, looking the hands back, and then taking both legs out in front of you. Bring your hands behind you, so you're just sitting back slightly, and then pointing the toes, flexing the ankles, and circling the feet one way, and then the other. And then just sliding one foot up and the other, and just letting the knees drop. Not going all the way down, but just gently moving, mobilising the hips. And we're going to start taking the legs apart. You get a stretch on the inside of the leg, sitting up straight and turning towards one leg, and gently sliding the hands down that leg, coming down over the leg. Just feeling again the stretch in the back of the leg, stretch in the back. And moving the hands into the centre, coming down in the centre. Maybe even propping your head on your hands or blocks or cushions at the height right for you. And moving them over to the other leg, coming down over that leg. And then gently walking the hands up, pressing the legs, and then just coming onto the hands. You come onto all fours and just coming to kneel. And just to show you what I'm doing, I'll come to the side and then just tucking the toes under. And we're just stretching out the toes. The last bit of the stretch, bring the hands into prayer. Might let the heels drop out slightly just so you get all your toes tucked under. Stretch. Then bringing the hands down, releasing the toes, and then coming just to lean back. So knees come slightly off the mat. They're just stretching out the quads at the front. Stretching that muscle a bit often. Don't get it. And then finally you can finish here. Always quite nice to come onto all fours, tuck the toes under, and just coming up into a downward dog. So really just feeling the stretch in the back of the calves, the shoulders, letting the head relax, the neck relax, legs relax, maybe walking out the dog, lifting up one heel, bring the other down, and then the other foot. And really getting that stretch in the back of the calf. And then as you breathe out, bringing the knees down, and coming to sit cross-legged. And then just bringing your attention to the whole body again. Just noticing how the body's feeling. There's areas that are feeling warm, cool. There's areas that are tingling, relaxation, or tension. Just noticing how it is at the moment in time. And even with that gentle movement, is the breath the same as it was at the beginning? What about your heartbeat? Is that speeded up at all? Let's take a couple of breaths before we finish here. And again, with this sequence, we've gone through it quite quickly, but you can take your time, hold each pose for longer, do the movements for longer, and just doing what works for you. Namaste.